Hello and welcome to News Central Now. I am Adebola Adedugba. The top stories at this hour. Senator Okpewolo sworn in as Edo State 5th democratically elected governor. Sokoto Kebbi State brace up for emergence of new terror group. Unemployment rate dips under South Africa's coalition government. And details shortly. Let's begin by telling you that the newly elected governor of Edo State, Senator Monday Okpewolo, and his deputy, Dennis Idahosa, have been sworn in. The Chief Justice of the state, Daniel Okungbowa, administered the oath to the state's number 1 and 2 citizens at the Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium on Tuesday. They both pledged to uphold the Constitution, work within its dictates, and ensure the well-being of the people of the state. Supporters of the party at the stadium cheered throughout the oath-taking ceremony, marking the beginning of a new administration in the state.
Continuance of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
That I will not allow my personal interest.
That I will not allow my personal interest.
To influence my official conduct.
To influence my official conduct.
All my official decisions.
All my official decisions.
That I will.
That I will.
To the best of my ability.
To the best of my ability.
Preserve. Protect and defend.
Protect and defend.
The Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That I will abide by the Code of Conduct.
Code of Conduct.
Contained in the 5th schedule. To the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
To the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
That in all circumstances. I will do right to all manner of people.
I will do right to all manner of people.
According to law. Without fear.
And now to security matters. Last week, the Defense Headquarters confirmed the emergence of Lukarawa, a new deadly terrorist group in Sokoto and Kebbi State, threatening critical governance rights in these subnational enclaves. A few days after the Defense Headquarters formally confirmed the emergence of the new terrorist group, at least 15 people were killed in an attack on a Mera village in Agu local government area of Kebbi State, neighboring to Sokoto State. On his part, Ahmed Rufai, spokesperson for the Sokoto State Police Command, said the armed group operates in 5 local government areas in Sokoto, including Gudu, Tangaza, Binji, Ilela, and another local government area. Rufai described the group as heavily armed with sophisticated weapons. On the same day, the Defense Headquarters in Abuja issued a statement declaring 9 suspected members of the group wanted. And for more on this, we're joined by a public affairs analyst, and that's Reverend Joseph Hayab. Good evening, Reverend. Let me kick off by asking regarding the emergence of the Lukarawa terrorist group in Sokoto as well as Kebbi State. What does that mean for our broader security challenges in Nigeria looking at the northwestern region?
Thank you very much for having me. The challenge we have is for quite some years now, our borders have been porous. When the Boko Haram started their madness and killed people in the northeast, and eventually the bandits that took over the northwest started terrorizing, the understanding is that there is always a connect between the Boko Haram to the bandits here and then the foreign groups that are coming in, because they don't just come in, they have someone inviting them, or they come in to support a group, but also want to exhibit or exercise some sense of independence and continue their operation. So what is happening now simply is that the northwest zone of Nigeria is now going to another phase of banditry, another phase of terrorist attack, because the first groups that we thought government have dislodged them probably may have become weak. And then these new groups, not that they are just coming, they have studied, they know the roots, they know the people, they know the situation, so they understand the workings of the previous groups that were going about kidnapping people in school. And you can see the way they've started hitting, not just going for 1 or 2, they are going for large numbers. They are now taking over local governments. That tells us that we have just gone back again to those areas of serious security threats.
I mean, looking at these operations of this group, we've had reports, regarding them, taking over local government areas in both Sokoto as well as Kebbi State, also taking over the role of traditional rulers, settling disputes and all of that. What does it mean for regional stability as well as governance in these states?
First, you see, these terrorist groups are very smart. They understand the pains people are going through. They understand the poverty challenge that is facing people. People are hungry. And they also understand the division, the tension that exists in many of the communities that they are in charge now. So they come with, they present themselves as people who want to proffer some solution, people who want to give them a new lease of life. But the reality is that they will end up just tormenting Nigerians and creating more problems. But you see, the ECOWAS treaty that allows people movement around the ECOWAS country, nothing has actually been done enough to clearly address that, because criminals come into your country, but they hide under ECOWAS treaty. And then if you start to stop them, someone will say, no, you are stopping our brothers. The story around them is that when they started coming, and there was an effort to stop them, the challenge was that some group came out and said, no, Magban, to be precise, as it was stated, came out and was saying that they are stopping their brothers from coming into Nigeria, but not knowing that Nigerians need to protect our territory, Nigeria needs to stop our enemies from coming into the country. Currently, some of the few West African countries are already exposed to or are being ruled by military juntas. And this further makes this whole thing difficult for people to understand where are these terrorists actually coming from. So the onus now is on Nigerian government. The Office of the National Security Advisor, the military, Nigerian military forces, and the intelligence to take measures that will ensure, in the first place, they're supposed to have a good report, security report on how many of these terrorists, their growth, the rate of their movement, their spray within the northwest zone, because we are talking about Sokoto, KB. These people may have gone beyond this because the number of years they've been around is enough for them to have probably reached Kaduna, is enough for them to have even probably have some members in Abuja. Don't forget that when this matter started coming out, it was also stated that some of them even went to Lagos. So we have a serious situation at hand. We have to really do a lot of work in our intelligence gathering to ensure that those who came with them, those who belong to them and may have been moved to other states, don't even have a space to operate, because they will be regrouping, they will be bringing them back, they will come with information. No wonder these people keep having higher information and a better information than even our security, because they are well placed, they are well structured, and the challenge we have today, we don't have the support of those West African countries that have been taken over by military juntas because they are angry with the manner ECOWAS handled their case. But I believe that the Nigerian government, the Nigerian security have what it takes to get these people rid out on time. They must not allow them spray the way Boko Haram spray. So we must do something so that within the shortest possible time, they are dislodged, they cannot operate, they will not cause us more harm than what they have started doing.
We understand this group may have, emerged from Niger Republic. What does it speak to our border security, and what's the role of the customs, as well as the Nigerian military in all of this?
When the federal government announced closure of borders, they actually just closed the borders in public on issue of food and goods. But what did we do about people who cross our borders that are not Nigerians? What did we do about people who cross our borders that don't have any form of identification? Sadly, in the last few years, Nigerians know that we've been hammering the challenge of the NIN that Nigerians were forced to have. Unfortunately, with the use of NIN, some people still call or kidnap people and have communication with Nigerian numbers. They are not using Niger number to communicate to us. They are using Nigerian numbers to communicate to us, and we've not been able to trace them or track them and stop them. Because of the sovereignty of Niger Republic, there is a limit to our involvement. And I keep repeating, because of the recent coup in Niger Republic and the tension that it has created between Nigeria and Niger, the issue now is not what is the Niger position or what is the territorial.
Since we lost connection with our guests there, Reverend Joseph Ayub, public affairs analyst, speaking to us on the emergence of this new terror group ravaging, states, parts of Nigeria, Kebbi and Sokoto. We thank him all the same for his time on the news. Troops of the Nigerian Army deployed for rescue operation in Taraba State have arrested 12 suspected kidnappers. The kidnappers were reportedly apprehended after a distress call from residents of Chachanji village regarding the abduction of 2 individuals by a group of around 10 armed men on motorcycles on 7th November. The Army said 14 motorcycles, 2 bags of Indian hemp, and a locally made pistol were recovered during the rescue operation. The troops revealed that in a follow-up operation, the troops arrested the 12 suspects and seized 14 motorcycles at a local drinking joint in Mikia village, close to Agus Center, on 9th November. The Special Independent Investigative Panel on Human Rights Violation in Counter-Insurgency Operations in Northeast Nigeria has dismissed claim of a secret and systematic illegal forced abortion program by the Nigerian Armed Forces. The panel, established by the Nigerian National Human Rights Commission, presented its finding, revealing that there is no substantial evidence to support the allegation reported by international media outlets Reuters in 2022. Our correspondent, Umaru Kirawa, has details.
The battle to maintain peace in Nigeria's northeast and other parts of the country is continuing. In the early month of December 2022, Reuters reports that since 2013, a secret military program has involved terminating at least 10,000 pregnancies among women and girls, many of whom had been kidnapped and raped by Islamist militants, an allegation the Nigerian government has since denied. A special independent investigative panel on human rights violations in counterinsurgency operations on northeast Nigeria presents its findings on the matter in a 214-page comprehensive report.
Reuters basing its allegations on the killing of children through a reconstruction that it did was not backed by evidence. The panel further notes that the refusal of the International Committee of the Red Cross to honor the invitation of the panel raises question as to its commitment to the values and principles it has always projected.
This report is more than a document. It is a testament to our enduring pledge to protect the rights of all Nigerians and promote a culture of accountability and reform.
The investigative panel noted that access to both military and hospital records have been a major challenge.
The report which we have presented has been a result of intensive work of the panel and its secretariat, encompassing 199 testimonies and a visit to 20 field locations.
These recommendations are not merely suggestions. They represent a pathway towards healing and rebuilding trust within our communities. We must work collectively to address the shortcomings identified.
They recommended some reforms, including investment in electronic health record system, the establishment of accountability mechanisms for human rights, a dedicated human rights unit in military formations. The panel also recommends that the federal government pays compensation to the victims of the killings in Abisari, in Marte local government within 90 days, among others. In Maiduguri for News Central, Umaru Kirawa.
At least 13 reported dead in Plateau mine collapse. Details shortly. Join us again. Thank you for staying tuned. On a sad note, at least 13 persons have been reported dead after a mining site collapse in Basa local government area, LGA of Plateau State. Joshua Riti, A chairman of the LGA said the incident occurred on November 10th. He added that 7 of the deceased hail from Abasa LGA. The collapsed mining site is coterminous with just south and just north local government areas. Majority of the victims were said to be aged 18 to 30 years. Mining accidents are becoming a recurrent decimal in resource-rich Nigeria. In June, a mining site collapsed in Niger State following a downpour. 7 persons were eventually rescued. In January, 2 people were killed and 77 injured in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, due to the activities of illegal miners. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has expressed his condolences following a tragic truck accident in the Ayetoro area of Ekpe, Lagos State on Monday. In a post on X.com on Tuesday, Sanwo-Olu extended sympathies to the affected families. The accident, reportedly caused by a brake failure on a cement truck, resulted in at least 3 fatalities and several injuries. The truck reportedly lost its brakes while descending from Itaopo, colliding with a commercial tricycle, a packed salon car, before ramming into the market. Now let's switch to the petroleum sector, where the Group Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, Amela Kyari, has assured that NNPCL Limited fully supports the prosperity of local refineries across Nigeria. And speaking at the 42nd Annual International Conference and Exhibition of the Nigeria Association of Petroleum Explorationists in Lagos, themed Resolving the Nigeria Energy Trilemma, Energy Security, Sustainable Growth and Affordability, Kyari emphasized the company's commitment to Nigeria's energy future. Amid recent tensions between oil marketers and Dangote refinery, Kyari clarified that NNPC Limited is not undermining domestic refinery efforts. Instead, as a shareholder in the Dangote refinery, NNPC's investment aims to bolster Nigeria's energy security and ensure a steady domestic fuel supply. Kyari's remarks underscore NNPC's stance on fostering energy sustainability and affordability for the nation. Young entrepreneurs in Nigeria are to be provided with mentorship opportunities and seed capital to grow their businesses. And this is by a Mentorship Support Foundation in Abuja at its upcoming seminar scheduled for November 30th, 2024 in Abuja. The president of the foundation, while speaking to newsmen in the federal capital, says that the event will bring together industry leaders who will share from their wealth of experience in a bid to empower young minds to become self-employed.
That is at our advantage in the 21st century is the information that our disposal, and the only way you can get the information for you to sustain a business is through a seminar like this. So Meet the CEO 4.0 is not just any entrepreneurship summit or seminar. It's an opportunity for you to learn and hear from pool of CEOs who have done well. And also that day, there's going to be a lot of people or young Nigerians, they're going to go home with a startup seed for free to enhance their own idea. Because I believe that for us to get it right in Nigeria, in Africa, we must, as a matter of necessity, invest in entrepreneurship.
We are just doing our bit as part of our national contribution to ensure that the youth that are main, stay of government, of economic power are engaged.
Cinematic tradition has long served as a vessel for preserving and showcasing the nation's diverse cultures and heritage. The storytelling prowess of its filmmakers, actors, and producers deeply embedded in the nation's history has resonated with diverse audiences. Recently, a significant event spotlighted Nigeria's creative culture while emphasizing efforts to foster and elevate future talent in the film industry. Our correspondent Chidima Ona has details.
Nigeria's film industry, famously known as Nollywood, has risen from the modest beginnings to become a global force ranked as one of the largest film industries in the world. This growth has been sustained by the efforts of private stakeholders, government support, and passionate individuals dedicated to amplifying Nigerian voices through cinema. Workshops by the U.S. Consulate and Kunle Afolayan Film Academy are crucial for nurturing new talent and evolving storytelling while preserving Nigerian heritage. U.S. Consulate General Will Stevens highlighted the value of bringing American filmmakers to foster cross-cultural learning and innovation.
Right, we have to get ready. And you're doing that. You're shaping how people perceive your culture. You're shaping how people perceive your country and your continent. And I'm just really, really glad and grateful that at the U.S. mission we can help support that in a small way. That we can invest, we can create these partnerships with American storytellers, with the American film industry, and help to tap into the next generation, support the people that are going to be here.
I mean, my expectation is to treat this as an information exchange. I feel like we are all students in this. So I expect to learn from them just as much as they expect to learn from me.
What I'm really looking forward to is just sharing my process with collaborating with the cinematographer, how I collaborate with my cinematographer, but also actors as well.
Acclaimed Nigerian filmmaker Kunle Afolayan, known for his dedication to showcasing Nigerian culture through cinema, spoke passionately about his mission and inspiration as a Nigerian filmmaker.
I'm a man of culture. That is who I am. So it's just me selling who I am. It's me selling what I believe in. It's me selling what I feel nobody would do better than me. So if you're good at what you do, or if you believe in your origin and all of that, and then you put that to perspective, and then, you know, add quality to it, it will sell.
Nigeria's creative space thrives on the collective spirit of its people and the stories they tell. As the nation continues to showcase its culture through film, the world takes note of its unique perspective marked by resilience, authenticity, and a boundless imagination. In Lagos for News Central, I am Chidimma Ona.
Coming up, unemployment rate dips under South Africa's coalition government. Details shortly. Join us again. Thank you for staying with us. Senegal's former president, Macky Sall, is making a controversial return to politics as he leads an opposition coalition in Sunday's snap parliamentary elections. Sall, who stepped down in April after 12 years in power, handed over to successor Bassirou Diomaye Faye before relocating to Morocco. Now his re-entry into the political arena from abroad has sparked debate about his intentions and potential impacts on the nation. The current Prime Minister, Ousmane Sonko, Sall's long-time political rival, has hinted that former officials, including Sall, could face legal scrutiny. Sonko alleges that Sall's administration left Senegal in dire financial straits and misrepresented figures to international partners, claims the former government has denied. European fishing vessels are set to immediately cease operations in Senegalese waters following the non-renewal of an agreement between Brussels and Dakar. The accord between the European Union and Senegal, which took effect since 2019, is scheduled to expire at midnight between Sunday and Monday. EU Ambassador Jean-Marc Pisani said the agreement would not be renewed at this time after the European Commission informed the Senegalese government in May of shortcomings related to illegal, unreported and unregulated fishing.
Les bateaux européens pourront, ça sera le choix des armateurs, continuer de pêcher ailleurs. Il y a des accords, notamment je parlais des 14 accords de partenariat et de pêche durable que l'Union européenne a avec un certain nombre de pays, pays voisins du Sénégal. L'Union européenne a un accord avec la Gambie, avec la Guinée-Bissau, avec le Cap-Vert, avec la Mauritanie. L'Union européenne ne souhaite pas renouveler d'accords de pêche avec des pays dont on sait qu'il y a une difficulté avec la pêche illégale et qu'un certain nombre de contrôles doivent être renforcés de manière à lutter contre cette pêche illégale. Le 27 mai dernier, la Commission européenne a notifié à l'État du Sénégal le fait qu'il y avait un certain nombre de défaillances qui avaient été constatées dans le cadre de la pêche illicite, non déclarée et non réglementée.
Data showed on Tuesday that South Africa's unemployment rate fell in the 3 months after the formation of a coalition government that has boosted business confidence and led to hopes for more progress on the economic reform. Statistics South Africa figures show that the official unemployment rate fell to 32.1% in the third quarter of 2024 from 33.5% in the second quarter, the first time the official rate had fell in a year. The number of unemployed people rose by 294,000, while the number of unemployed decreased by 373,000 during the quarter. Employment gains were recorded in community and social services, as well as in construction, trade, mining, and transport sectors. This is the first decline in joblessness since the third quarter of 2023, when the unemployment rate stood at 31.9%. And now to update on COP29, where countries attending the 29th session of the Climate Change Conference of Parties, COP29, have agreed on a new global carbon market framework which will reward nations cutting down emissions. Speaking on Tuesday in Azerbaijan, Simon Stiel, Executive Secretary of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, said the operationalization of carbon markets will accelerate climate action. Still, who described the decision as significant, emphasized the need for climate investments to flow to where it is most needed. He added that a deteriorating climate translates to a cost of living crisis, and its impact will put inflation on steroids unless every country can take bolder climate action. He urged leaders to ensure that their negotiators keep the posturing and move directly to finding a common ground.
No country is immune. So let's dispense with the idea that climate finance is charity. An ambitious new climate finance goal is entirely in the self-interest of every single nation, including the largest and the wealthiest.
The host of the UN Climate Summit in Azerbaijan, President Ilham Aliyev, on Tuesday defended fossil fuels and the right of countries to exploit them as dozens of world leaders arrived for the COP29 conference. In his opening address, Aliyev said Azerbaijan had been subject to slander and blackmail for its use of fossil fuel and that no country should be judged for its natural resources.
Today, Azerbaijan's share in global oil production is 0.7%. In global gas production is 0.9%. But fake news media of the country, which is #1 oil and gas producer in the world and produces 30 times more oil than Azerbaijan, call us petrostate. To accuse us that we have oil is the same like to accuse us that we have more than 250 sunny days a year in Baku. Countries should be judged by other criteria. For instance, level of unemployment in Azerbaijan, it is 5.4%. Level of poverty, it is 5.2%.
Prime Minister Keir Starmer says Britain would cut greenhouse gas emissions by 81% by 2035 as he committed the country to a more ambitious climate goal at the United Nations COP29 Climate Summit. The new goal is in line with recommendation from a committee of climate advisors who said last month the target should exceed the current 78% to cut emissions. measured against 1,990 levels. According to Stammer, he wants the United Kingdom to be a first mover in the global transition towards clean energy at the COP29 summit in Baku.
Recognises that the world stands at a critical juncture in the climate crisis. And the United Kingdom not only has a critical role to play, but also an opportunity to grasp. The chance to maximise opportunities for Britain and make us more secure in the here and now. And everybody knows there's a transition, an energy transition. These things happen quite rarely, once in a generation usually, perhaps a little bit longer than that, where there's a global transition on energy. And the lesson from history is to go into that transition with a clear plan for a just outcome, but also to take advantage of being a first mover in that. And that's what I want us to be, which is why I say there's a race on for the next generation of jobs. They're good, well-paid jobs. Other countries are in that race. I want to be in it and I want to win it.
And for context, we are joined by our correspondent Bettina Onwele, who is there at Azerbaijan for this. Bettina, just bring us up to speed. What's been the talking point so far at this conference?
All right, Adebola, so far we are still on the talks about ending carbon emissions in different countries. Now, last year in Dubai at the COP28, Nigeria especially made a promise that they were going to reduce carbon emissions, reduce gas flaring, which makes sense when we look at why President Tinubu has been trying to push for the switch from fuel to CNG. But however, we are yet to receive the Nigerian delegates in terms of government to come here to Azerbaijan and, have their own space and say what they think is going on in the country. Now, these promises that were made in Dubai, how far have we gone in keeping them? How far have we gone in trying to end the carbon emissions? We still have until 2030, but now in 2024, the question is going to be how far, what have we done to make sure that 2030 is indeed a vision that we can aspire to meet? Other than that, earlier today, we were supposed to have a press briefing by the Director General of the National Council of Climate Change, Nigeria. But up until when we left the center, she was in a high-level plenary meeting, so that press media statement did not hold. But we are expecting that they will shift it till tomorrow. By tomorrow, we have a list of activities that will start at the Nigerian pavilion here in Azerbaijan. So we're looking forward to know the direction in which Nigeria is going to take in this COP29.
How about other African countries? What have you heard or what do you know about how they are reacting on this mission to cut greenhouse gas emissions by 81% come 2035?
So for me, I think Africa has a unique challenge when it comes to cutting the greenhouse emissions because we rely heavily on oil. A lot of African countries, it will be a bit difficult, especially when it comes to funding. It is why people are pushing this year at the COP29 for climate funding. Now, before now, when you talk about climate funding for developing nations, it was looking like a charity case. Why should we give these people money? What do they need this money for? How are they going to spend this money? But I'm very glad that, people at the high level, at the top, people like Antonio Guterres and Simon Steele have come out to say that, we need to help these people if we really want to protect our universe as a whole. Now, we cannot talk about climate change in one region and then leave the other. So for Africa and for developing nations, climate funding is important. But I'm also guessing that the worries of these other richer nations are the fact that if we give out this money, how sure are we that the money that we are giving out to these nations will indeed be used to cut down on the climate activities that we see happening around the world? In Nigeria especially, different states in Nigeria, we have a lot of climate crisis that we need to look into. In a recent event that I attended, there was a lady who came out talking about the disabled people and how they are involved in climate action. And she made a very valid point saying that, those who are disabled, physically disabled, have an issue when it comes to climate change because nobody considers them. Now, if you think about flooding, we think about erosion and all of those things, because they are physically disabled, they are at a loss on what to do. If their area gets flooded and they have to move, they have it more difficult So this funding becomes very important and very paramount to fix things and also to help the less privileged around who are also victims of climate change.
Well, thank you so much, our correspondent there, Bettina Onwele, who is going to be our eyes and ears at the COP29 happening in Azerbaijan. Bettina, many thanks indeed.
Absolutely. Have a brilliant day.
Away from COP29, the Archbishop of Canterbury, Justin Welby, has resigned on Tuesday, saying he stepped down in sorrow after failing to ensure there was a proper investigation into allegations of abuse by a volunteer at Christian summer camps decades ago. Welby, the spiritual leader of 85 million Anglicans worldwide, has been called to step down after a report last week revealed that he had done nothing to stop what he called maybe the most prolific serial abuser in the history of the Church of England. EU Foreign Policy Chief Joseph Borrell has pledged unwavering support for Ukraine on the first visit by a top Brussels official after Donald Trump's win. The volatile Republicans' victory in the United States presidential election has set nerves jangling in Ukraine and Europe that Trump could end Washington's support for Kyiv's fight against Russia's invasion. On the campaign trail, Trump cast doubts on maintaining the vast U.S. military and financial aid to Ukraine and said he could cut a quick deal to end the war. Borrell said Russia's President Vladimir Putin does not want to negotiate and will not negotiate unless he's forced to do so.
To see you again and again. Thank you that during this war you've always been 100% totally on our side, on the side of Ukrainian people. You don't need any details about this war because you've been during the challenging days, very difficult days, tough moments.
I remember very well when we met first. It was much before the war started. And then you explained me your plans to take Ukraine in the European path, to fight against corruption, to push for the modernization of the society and economy of Ukraine. And happily then the war came. The war came, you and all the Ukrainian people have been fighting in order to reject the aggression. And we from the European Union, we have been trying to support you, or supporting you as much as we could, maybe not as much as needed, but doing a great effort that brings the European Union to the first support.
The swift advancement of technology is transforming the financial services landscape. Innovations such as cloud computing, artificial intelligence, digital payment, and cybersecurity are now reshaping how financial institutions function. On an episode of Business Edge, Tokpe Adenle, Vice President, Card Business Corps, shared his insights on the key opportunities and challenges facing the region's financial sector.
Sector, especially speaking within the range of Africa, the opportunities and challenges I find that. I'm speaking to some of the opportunities, it will be financial inclusion. If I look at what the numbers are saying right now, the financial inclusion score will be somewhere between maybe 45 to 55 if you aggregate it across countries. What this means is if you take, let's say 50, which is the median of that range, it means there's another opportunity of 50% to get these people included into an ecosystem where everybody is a part of it, payments, save money, earn money, and also transfer these monies digitally. I think the second thing will just be around mobile payment. Just speaking to opportunities now, mobile payment in the sense that as mobile phones and other platforms that enable seamless conversation, seamless transfer of information are penetrating across Africa. This also kind of lends itself to where money can be moved, and I think there's a
And switching to sports, the Super Eagles held their first training session on Tuesday evening at Stade Felix Houphouët-Boigny, preparing for Thursday's 2025 AFCON qualifier against Benin Republic. Captain and AFCON 2023 player of the tournament, William Trust Ekong, was part of a group which included reigning Africa Player of the Year, Victor Osimhen, a 2024 CAF Player of the Year nominee, Ademola Lukman, Bright Osai Samuel, Olaino, Victor Collins, Calvin Bassi, Alex Iwobi, and Hassan Yusuf Abdullahi. They were joined by Bayer Leverkusen striker Victor Boniface and South Africa-based goalkeeper Stanley Nwabali. Real Sociedad forward Sadiq Umar is expected shortly. Nigeria currently leads Group D with 10 points from 4 matches, while Benin is second with 6 points. The top 2 teams from the group will qualify for the 2025 AFCON in Morocco. The Football Association has launched its own investigation into a video that appears to show Premier League referee David Kuth using foul language to describe former Liverpool boss Jurgen Klopp. Kuth has already been suspended by refereeing body Professional Game Match Officials Limited, pending a full investigation. The 42-year-old has also been withdrawn from an international commitment this week. However, the nature of Kuth's alleged comments are also attracting the attention of the FA. Kuth used Klopp's German nationality to preface one of his comments, and FA rules state nationality as one of the references that can lead to an aggravated breach of its rules. Stade Rennais have named former Chile manager George Sampaoli as their new coach to replace Frenchman Julien Stéphan on a contract until 2026, the Legon club said. Rennes sacked Stéphan on Thursday after they won just 3 of their first 10 leagues game of the season. They were then beaten by 2-0 at home by Toulouse on Sunday under caretaker Sebastian Sambore. Argentine Sampaoli coached Chile between 2012 and 2016, winning the Copa America in 2015 and was named South American Coach of the Year that same year. The 64-year-old has coached a host of high-profile teams, including Sevilla, Olympique de Marseille, and Argentina national side. His last job was at Brazilian club Flamengo. The Renault Old Alpine team will use Mercedes engines in Formula One from the 2026 season. Now the deal, which follows the decision in September to end Renault's own engine program in 2025, runs until the end of 2030. Alpine will also use Mercedes-supplied gearboxes from 2026, although the team are exploring their options to design this in-house from 2027. The move, which is aimed at increasing competitiveness after years of the Renault engine failing to match up to its rival, follows a shift in focus at Alpine after many years of failing to achieve its ambitions in the Formula One. And that's all on the news. Let's take a look again at some of the major stories. Senator Adebola has been sworn in as Edo State 5th democratically elected governor. Sokoto, Kebbi State are bracing up for emergence of new terror group. Unemployment rate has dipped under South Africa's coalition government. You can watch News Central live on DSTV, channel 422, Star Times, channel 274, Avo TV, and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I am Adebola Adedugba.